All right. Hello, hello, and welcome back to our Tuesday art streams. Hope everybody's been having a good week so far, and hopefully everything's been going good for everybody. At the moment, I am finishing up a couple of things, and it is National Cartoonist Day, which is a good time. So, gotta show appreciation and love for all of those lovely comic artists out there. Rando, hey, what's up? How is it going? How have you been doing this week? Even though it's only Tuesday. Okay, I am. Where is this? Here's Spotify. Okay, and then doing all right. Thanks. Happy Cartoonist Day. Yeah, I'm excited. Is this is the first time I've like properly, I guess, acknowledging that I am in fact just a whole cartoonist myself. So it's a good time. I'm excited. Oh, my computer, not yours. Where I'm sitting at today is I have my graphics tablet balanced rather precariously while I'm working, so I have a feeling the cord and the sensors may end up being very upset with me today. Okay, so let me play on this. And then I'll toss it on shuffle. And hopefully I'm louder than the music. I think I will be, though. Okay, so we are going to be doing some inking today for comic. I've been trying to get everything back to where I want it to be, because I redid all three of the first pages again. So, but this is what I'm sticking with. I'm having to make sure I'm not like being nitpicky, I guess. So that's what I'm aiming for, is to not be nitpicky and to get it through and done. So I hit the I guess the goal mark that I'm aiming for, which is I want this first one to be done by the end of the year. My original goal was super ambitious in January, which was I'll have it done by September. And as I've been working on them, like, there's no way. So this is kind of what we've adjusted so far, is I've made it, let me zoom back out. I've made it like a full kind of actual page, and I've been making sure to take it as an illustration like you're supposed to. So I've got a panel within technically a full illustration, which will have our main character Lillian, and then, let me throw my sketch layer back on. So it'll have Lillian and then the other two cowboys that are assisting her, kind of writing. And with how the panel is supposed to read, it's supposed to be where, like, when you open the page, the birds kind of point towards the horse's legs point down towards this, and this goes this way, so then you turn the page. You've got this. Thank you. I'm hoping I can get the rest of this page inked, and then maybe starting with coloring. I'm gonna cry over the grass, I'm sure. But by the time I'm done with these next few pages, dude, I'm gonna know how to do grass so good. There's no way I won't. Is this? Okay, so this is Lorenzo, so I need to get him done. So, where did I leave off? The horse's ear? Okay. Land cow. You know what? You make a fair point, but grass isn't as crinkly as oh, I'm on the wrong there. Isn't as crinkly as kelp is. It's true. The color might be pretty similar though, I think, on how they're supposed to be colored. Let's get our horse ear in. Okay, and then I can zoom back out. I can get... Where? Hold on. This dude's face. Okay, I see a couple lines I want to fix, just because they're kind of wiggly. So like the reins right here, I'm not digging too much, so let me fix it. I think my issue is they're a little wiggly and there's no line variation, but every time I'm doing inking, I'm like, oh, I've learned something new, which is good. That's not a bad thing. It makes it incredibly difficult because then I'll go look at something that I've done and I'm like, hey, that's great, but I know how to do it better now and I have to go fix it. So we don't want it completely taut. Clean up the line a little bit. And then this line here. No. There we go. And that line can stay, because maybe there's some kind of variation on the way it's turned. Which then lets me do this. The thing is, Barry, which is this cowboy's name here, he's a little in the way for what I'm trying to do, but it's fine. Okay, so let me do this. So I didn't really care for this line either. I guess I'm gonna have to, like, kind of two-pair? No. Do I? Maybe. I'll think about it. Okay, but we've got Lorenzo's horse here with his mane kind of doing this. No, I was gonna round it, but I see it and I immediately changed my mind. We're not gonna round it. I'm gonna... hang on. How is the best cartoonist on this side of the hemisphere go? That is, oh my gosh! This guy! First off, that's really sweet. Thank you. Oh man, I knocked my cord. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know how the best one is doing. I could say this one's doing pretty okay. Oh.
Sky Barik reminds the Fae to hydrate.
Thank you, Sky. I will hydrate. Alright, hydration done. I heard that every person in the world is at least 6 layers of separation from one another. In what capacity? So with the right connections, you can talk to any person you want. That... If that's a legitimate statistic, honestly, that's kind of insane. This has the same energy as, like, that one meme of someone being like, if you invite a bunch of celebrities to your wedding, they'll either show up or just have their secretary send you a really nice gift. That's how this feels. Did anyone confirm that? I don't know if anybody did. I can use a few $100. Sky, are you implying that you're getting married soon? If so, congratulations. That can be arranged in one way or another. Incredible. Congrats on your eventual marriage, I suppose, to your partner. Okay, because I am shading the main, there's gonna be a lot of zooming in and out, and I apologize in advance. so, so I'm figuring out how I want the mane on this horse to look. I could extend it down, honestly. Do I want to? Do I want his horse to be that kind of floofy? Would he have that kind of floofy horse? No, he wouldn't. how is it going? Looking good, that mane. Thank you. How is it going, Imp? Has the stress been a little better today? Oh, I put the... Do I wanna... Yeah, we're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna get rid of this so this arm shadow isn't cutting through the mane. Going pretty well, thank you. Oh no, stressful remain being an issue for a while longer, I fear. Just checking out the newest Stellaris patch right now, mostly. Oh no, I hope your stress ends much sooner than you think it will. Especially if it is not the good stress. Or like the work stress. Work stress sucks. And then, let's see. Also, what, if you want to share, although I'm assuming you might end up showing it on stream, but what does their patch entail? Oh, you know what? Isn't Lorenzo's horse is the extra dark colored one. So I don't actually have to go heavy on his mane because his lighting will be what makes or breaks the mane. So you know what? I don't have to keep pushing like I'm thinking I do, which is good. That's a good realization to have prior. Patches a whole lot of stuff. I'm only looking at mechanical changes, but they also introduced organic ships and stuff like Farscape. I don't know what Farscape is. Organic ships though, like plants organic, or organic like body horror organic. And that, I mean, that's it's just kind of gonna cut into very organic spaceships. Right. Ooh, I zoomed in a whole bunch because I tapped the wrong thing. No, turn the sketch off so I can see what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, the mane looks fine. I like this mane, but I'm biased because I think this haircut on a horse looks nice. Okay, and then I will likely have to get rid of his foot. Also, Imp, I get to join you in figuring out grass again. We got a lot of grass to figure out. Should be fun. Objectively. Oh, okay. I still have more of Lorenzo's horse to do. I was like, are we moving to Barry? No, not yet. Okay. And we're on the right layer. Okay, and then just go. It's got a chest there. Its legs are done because I did that earlier. Where does I can't really do the stomach until I get Barry's horse in because the tail's in the way. And I don't know how if I'm leaving the tail long, or if I'm making it shorter, if it's covering Lorenzo's foot, or I don't know yet. We'll get there. Oh, would you see... Ooh, would you see the strap of the... Would you see the saddle strap? I'm gonna say you probably will, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Also, his leg is actually too high. I don't know that you would actually see that. Or at least not all of it. So let me not erase it. Let me go like there. His horse is gonna end up looking real beefy. Okay, so now we can start on Barry, but I'm gonna put Barry on his own layer. And then when I combine everything together, I will know it's fine. Extra zoom so I can see what I'm doing. I put that exactly back where I was trying to move from. Oh my gosh. There we go. Do I want to work on a 10? Do we? Yeah, we'll work with 10 and we'll see. So let's get his hair. Which Barry has. He's got some pretty curly hair. And then his curly hair kind of like feeds into his beard a little bit. But we'll come back to the beard. No, I've made his ear a little thick. There we go. Okay, and then because it feeds in the beard. Move this down.
Blame it on me. You're just too scared to be lonely. No one's safe from the reaper. Not a saint nor a sinner. Rage under my skin, slowly descend into madness. Let it spread like a virus. Be a friend with the violence. Help, there's blood on my hands. Somebody save me from myself.
Color that in a little bit. Get his face shape in. No, I shaped it wrong. Because a beard goes weirdly underneath your cheekbones instead of growing on them. So they kind of have like, they add like a definition to the face. Okay, so that we can do his nose. should be... Let me turn off this. Is that fine? That's fine. Objectively horrifying when there's no sketch layer under it, but, you know, it's fine. Nobody's gonna be this zoomed in to him, when they're reading it. Okay, let's get the mustache part of his beard in. Slower lip. There we go. Okay. So, no, not this layer. So we turn off this layer, and he would have his eyebrow right here. Let's see, and the other part of it, that side would be like there. Let me add this in. His eyes. So he would be looking this way. And then we've got his pupils. Zoom out. He's a floating head, but it's fine. Good, okay. Alright, so we gotta get his hat in. And the rest of him. So I am gonna make his head a little bigger, so that's why I overshot my sketch lines a little bit there. I really don't see any problem with making adjustments to your lines after you've sketched, just to make sure that it's looking good. 'Cause, I mean, realistically, your sketch lines are like they're just your, you know, fancified guidelines. There we go. Okay, and then yeah. What I can do is I can turn off the sketch layer, and his hat looks relatively fine. Just a few things, so I do want that colored in there. And it's just a touch big. So we can take that, fix that line. Adding flavor lines, because we like flavor lines. Okay, his hat, his face is done. Now we go to his bandana. So I'm gonna zoom in so I can see. Okay, so realistically, you would see part of his neck, which is about here, and then you would get the bandana. Then we can get this in. There we go. He's got a little more of a like a readable bandana now, as opposed to the sketch. Bandana corners are slightly rounded. No, that's fine. Drawing rope cloth knots is always tough. Glad the bandana knot is visible. It's definitely one of those weird ones. Typically, how I would do so, like if he, because I could technically make it visible, because realistically, with where it would sit at on the back of his neck, it would be, what, probably about here, right? So it'd be about here, and then, I mean, you could technically add a line there for kind of like where the fabric's sitting on top, and then run, because gravity, so then the kind of the droop of just one of them would be right there, because the other one would be kind of a little more on the other side. I mean, you could technically go like that, but then it might look a little weird. I mean, you could technically do that. Let's see, and I mean, because of the lighting, it would be, you would get kind of like a, yeah, kind of something like that. But it just kind of looks silly a little bit there, so that's why I didn't add it. But I mean, it could technically be visible. But let me see. So yeah, it would be, yeah, it would be visible. And then I mean, if you wanted like a better view, I mean, you've got kind of a circle, and then obviously like different knots can have different shapes. So I mean, you could technically do it this way, so more of like a tie knot. And then my cheaty way of doing it is just having the one line where it's like, oh, there's fabric over top, and then I mean, you just kind of, you know, kind of like that. And you've got fabric folds. You know, kind of something like that, I guess. You know, for a tie, it would just kind of, you know, go from there, or from this, it would just kind of like that. That's my weird cheaty way of doing knots. Okay, so there would only be a little bit of shadowing, because it is daytime. as they're writing out. There's not too many trees where they're going. We'll add a little bit there. And then texture-wise, we'll do this. I think because I know how to tie many knots and things, it's hard for me to get out of my analytical brain when drawing them. So I really struggle. Dude, I completely understand that sentiment. For I should be fine. For when I do like not safe for work artwork, I end up in my head super hard about it and like getting analytical about like the anatomy and stuff because that's like something that's so prominent in a piece like that. So I completely understand. Okay, so his vest. I got to practice doing vests over the weekend. I think it was Sunday. I got a lot. Dude, Sunday was like the big art day. I did 3 different pieces, concept to finish. And then yesterday I was like, God, I'm so tired. Why am I tired? That would do it. My partner was like, please rest. If you don't rest, we'll riot, please. So just like completely skipped out on any packing I was supposed to do because I'm gonna be moving soon, and it's just like, all right. So I'm watching One Piece all day. That's it. That's what we're doing. I did manage to catch some of Imp Stream, of course. And then I went to get food, and then my sibling was like, One Piece? So. Oh, the other thing that's really hard is elbows. Elbows are hard to do because they're in a weird position. Ooh. Ooh. I messed up. Well, I didn't mess up, but I have a line feeding into another line, and that's not good. Where did the layer go? No! They're on the same layer? Dude. I've played myself. Okay. Well, dang it. I still need to make time for One Piece sometime. I highly recommend. It's a really good anime, and the live action is actually also super good. So I mean, if you want like a nudge in like watching the animated One Piece, starting with the live action is actually not a bad idea. Because that's what me and my sister ended up doing, is I started the live action, and then she walked out to me watching it, and she just kind of like sat down and started watching it. So then we binged that season, and then I was like, you know this is an anime, right? And she's like, what? So we started binging One Piece. Is that a year ago? 2 years ago? A year and a half ago, maybe? It was about a year and a half ago, and we're right around episode 800, I think. I've seen like 30 or 40 episodes of the anime. There are just so many shoes on my I really need to watch this one. The live action is really good, it's true. It do be. A wrong layer emote is... Oh, shows. I gotcha. A wrong layer emote's a good idea. Is it like some... I don't know if that's what they used, but my brain goes to the wrong lever cronk. but instead it is the wrong layer. That's where I go to. That's a good one. Emperor's New Groove is goated. It is, and severely underrated. The other ones that are super underrated would be Treasure Planet, which is my personal favorite, and Atlantis. Both of those are super underrated. They need more love and appreciation. Okay, let me see. How are we looking? Oh my god, I fixed his arm. Way to go. Okay, so he would have knuckle there, a knuckle here. Maybe not that aggressive, but like here. That's 1, 2. I'm gonna count the fingies. 3 and 4. El Dorado is also underrated. Yes, it is. El Dorado is severely underrated. There is a lot of those early 2000s animations that are just, they don't get the appreciation they deserve at all. What is the other one? There's another one similar to El Dorado. Oh, Sinbad and the... Oh, it's like... There's an animated Sinbad. It's like Sinbad and the Seven something. I can't remember the last part of it. But that one is also really, really good. And very, very underrated. They 100% knew what they were doing when they designed Eris. Hercules does... Yes, I agree with the Hercules statement. I don't know who the voice actor is for Hades, but that depiction of Hades, while wildly inaccurate, is very good. Mulan is the best Disney movie, changed my mind. So, Mulan has some of the best Disney music. But I will stand on my hill of Treasure Planet. But I will say that is me being wildly biased, because I like Treasure Planet. So take my comment with a grain of salt, in that I'm just wildly biased towards Treasure Planet. No, I kind of... I'm looking at my sketch and I was like, did I do that for a reason? No. Okay, so that's fine. And then, because of how it would come out of his hand, it would go this way. I can go the distance. That one is pretty good, I will say. I'm not gonna worry about the reins. I'm looking at the reins, but I'm not gonna worry about them. I'm not gonna worry about them. Come back to them. Because if I worry about them, I'm gonna get finicky about it. And I need to know. Because I can always finish stuff and make adjustments later. It was fast. And then I can do what I did for the vest that I drew over the weekend. So then you have part of his shirt down here showing. And then, so we've got his belt. Belt, and then this would go into his pants, because there was the belt. Actually, hang on. There we go. Okay. So we got that in, but then I need to erase the belt, because there and... Nope. And here. Okay. Looking good so far. His elbow would be more like there though. See. What do I? Should I do this yet? Maybe. Probably. We leave a border because the light's everywhere. Do I know what time it is in this panel? No. I don't. Just know it's daytime. Oop, no, because the tail was wispy, not the... There we go. Ooh, okay, so I know this song, so I'm gonna skip this song because I don't know that that would... I'm on the right playlist though. But I would rather be safe than sorry. That's good. And then we can get his painted. Oh, his... Where the rain was saving me from doing a hand. But it's fine, because maybe his hand is down here. By his leg. Because some people ride, when they ride horses, they only do it with one hand. And I would argue that Barry is honestly a good enough rider to be able to do that. So his hand can be wrong. It's wrong. It's angled super wrong. Okay. I had a thought. The thought was wrong. Okay, so the about there. How did I? Okay. I kind of know how to fix it. So just bleh. Get rid of this, and then copy this. So I can copy this, and then we can go to edit, go to transform, flip horizontal. No, no. Okay, maybe not. Let's see. Okay, let me flip it back. I'll flip it back. I'll just have to add his thumb, to be honest. Shrink. Maybe? Or, no, I mean, I guess not, because... I don't know! Okay, let me get rid of that. That was my computer, not yours. My graphics tablet decided to yeet momentarily. It's fine. It's fine. You can... Okay, this is one of those times I should definitely listen to my sketch. I don't think there's a way I can make an adjustment with that. I do think his sleeve would show there. There, it's been adjusted. Yeah, there'd be shading there. This is the horn of the saddle. Okay, we'll go back to that. Pretty sure in my sketch I also went, hey, we'll just go back to that, it's fine. Or went, don't fix it. With, whatchamacallit, inking, it's fine. Oh, his saddle's too small for him. Or it's, yeah, he's sitting a little close. Because the horn would actually be like right here. Barry's gonna end up with a lot of shading on his legs, which is fine. Okay, and then we'll get rid of this. And this. Okay, so we're gonna do his horse's mane, so then maybe we can use it to hide some of the stuff. So let's see. Let's get the horses drawn. Let's see. The reins would go there. So we'll get rid of this line. So that's the horse's jaw. Ears would be a little bit more forward. So what she would want is the horse's mane starting about like right here. It's fine. We got it. So now, if we zoom out, and nope, not that, this layer. If we turn off this layer. Yeah. Barry's horse has a mane. Every horse has a mane! Oh, my computer, not yours. Oh my goodness. Please. Are you done throwing a tantrum at me? Yes? Good. Thank you. Alright, so now I can get the rest of the horse's reins in.
I don't wanna risk it all again, but I don't wanna be on my own. It always goes much better
Okay,
in my head,
I'll erase it. It's fine.
but
I
the feelings end
was
up
fixing it, and then I
wasted, so I'm
didn't like it, so we can fix it more.
breaking down when you said you got me. I'm used to
There we go. Okay, and then take our eraser and just fix where the horse's jaw is accidentally cutting into the reins. Yeah, okay. So grab this, okay, push it into the hair. However, the horse, they have blankets over their backs. Get the stirrups in.
I'm so afraid that you'll run out of patience. Trust me, I know how it feels to be hopelessly waiting. Sometimes I don't know if I can even change, but I'm still trying. So I'm sorry that you might have to see I'm not flawless. I promise that I'm facing my problems. If I'm falling too fast, will you catch me? Will you catch me before I crash?
No, 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 don't tilt it. That's not what I clicked. There we go, okay. Time for his boots. Which should be... No, hang on. The top is right. And then... No, There we go. Turn off sketch layer. Fill that in. Take that, put that back on. Nope, don't tilt. Zoom out. No. This button. So then if I turn the sketch layer off. Yeah. Shoes are weird to do. There's so many different like fabric textures and shapes built into shoes. I'll put that there so there's like a hey, there's definitely something behind the foot. True. Yeah, they're so weird. Okay, so the saddle. Not the most comfortable looking one in the world, but it's fine. Okay, so that belt, yeah, that'll be the belt that goes down to wrap around the horse, because up until I started inking, I did not have straps on the saddles. On the horses, the saddles were just there. They could just fall off if they wanted to. So I had to go fix that. So I edited a couple of sketch lines to be like, hey, don't forget, there is, in fact, straps on saddles beyond the stirrups. If I'm not mistaken, there's normally a couple of them too, but I only wanted to do the one. No need to make it overly complicated yet. Oh, that's the eraser. I was like, why is it not lining the lines? No, I see. Okay, so gotta color that in. And then there's like a secondary blanket that they do. Nope. No, don't throw a tantrum. How are you gonna yell at me and not... Bruh. It was just the whole line. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Now I can do the rest of the horse. I don't have to worry about straps or nothing. No. Mm. Is the leg angle wrong? What am I missing here? Oop. I think, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, that's in. And then we do his belly. This back leg here.
Trapped inside a dream. Could've sworn it used to be our home. Echoes filled the streets.
Then we do this back leg here.
Sat right there, oh so quiet. Try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown.
What's good is there's grass there, so I can just kinda be like, it's a shape. It's the right shape, totally. Nope, started that line too low. Alright, close enough, but... There we go. Alright, then I can take off my sketch layer, I can fill in the back leg. And I think the only thing Barry's horse is now missing is its tail. And then the grass.
Whispers from the past, like embers.
So yeah, alright. So now I will, in fact, make sure I make another layer as I do the tail, because I might have to erase Lorenzo's foot. Definitely gonna have to erase his foot. And it looks like part of Lillian's horse, which is fine. Okay, so let me grab this. Erase all of this. Oh, okay. I see. So all that can go away. Take this. And then no. Nope. This one. I can fill a shoe back in. Turn the sketch layer back on. Or not. There we go. Take that off. And then we need Lillian's layer with the eraser. Yeah. There we go. the sketch layer again. Alright, now it's just grass and a couple of like things here and there. Oh, that was on the wrong layer, wasn't it? Yes it was. It's okay. I can throw all the layers together. Alright. So is this all? Yep. All one layer. Okay. And then alright, so what am I? Okay, we're gonna do the grass, and then I'm gonna sob on stream because we're doing grass, and then we're gonna do all the shading. Or at least the rest of it, because we've done some of it. Okay, so we've got... Let's see if I can try and follow my own guidelines here and just be like, make it like fur. It's thin grass anyway. And you're zoomed out from it, technically, so there wouldn't be as much detail. Of course, when it comes to the back legs, what I will have to do is use probably use a white pen. I was gonna say I could erase it, but then that leaves room for the background color to cause problems. Could be wrong though. I'm gonna fill this in. Well, I don't know, maybe. Think about it. We'll see. Almost there. Take the sketch layer off. Or no, that is not what I did. I took the background off. Alright, sketch layer. Zoom in a little. Oh my god, it's grass! The only thing I'm missing is you would see the grass right here. Grass? Grass is nothing but a colored texture. That's it. That's all it is. It's gross. That's my stance on it. Yeah, I agree. Grass sucks and should be illegal. Oh man, I don't know if your program has it or if you would even want to use it. There is like grass pens. I just didn't want to use it because it wouldn't match anything. Let's see, is it this one? There is no, it's not. That's the running color spray. Is it this one? It is this one. That's cloud, cracks, ground, fallen leaves, grass patches. Here we go. Right? Okay, so I'll do it up here. Grass. Cause who doesn't want a little bit of grass? And there's other ones too. I think I have a grassland brush. This just like came preset with the clip. Could always make your own stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. I have to get over it. Understandable. So I'm weird. I'll grab a brush. Like I said, those ones came like preset with clip, but I'll grab a brush and I'll make some tweaks to it, but I kind of like just grabbing brushes and seeing kind of what ends up happening. I forgot so many little details on Barry. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the grass layer. Hang on. I like completely disregarded his shirt and vest details. 'Cause he's got like a plaid shirt going on. Which really is just helping me with how his arm turns. Because it ends up like a mesh net kind of thing. Nice, looks exactly like every grass I've ever seen. Plaid. Which is really just a series of lines of different colors. No, not that particular shape. And that go. There we go. He's got some of his stuff now. Let's see, what can I do to make his thing a little, if I do this, right, with like the threading on his vest, Will it look too much? Will it look good? Will it look bad? Only one way to find out, and I will add his buttons. No, it looks fine. Okay, neat. So now we get all of the rest of the other shading in. I'm gonna save first though. Gotta get those save times in. Alright, there we go. So I'm gonna throw the grass down there, so it's all one layer. Throw this up there. Oh, yep, okay. So, it's about to be me figuring out where I want more of the line weight to show. Which is also just me going, where are my shadows? Which there would be some here because of the grass. Leg. Now we do another leg. So let's see. Your heavier shadowing would be about here and here.
The silhouette's burning, embers rising high, like a chemical fire. The flame won't die. Intertwine, darling, you and I.
And let's see. So, because of angling, this would be the thicker line.
Barely scratching the surface. This obsession of mine is feeling the
Be fucking. Horse fur texture meets grass texture. Horse texture is easy, at least in my mind. But I really like working with fur texturing and stuff. That's something I've always enjoyed, though. So. Plus, I think it's a little easier to define fur than it is grass. What's grass but the fur of the... Oh no! Oh, I don't... Oh no! The fur of the earth. That... God, that feels really cursed for some reason. This is like whales being carnivores. I don't... Oh my god. Dude. One of those body horror places that would fit in Fallen London. Touch Earth Fur. No! Imp, no! much earth fur. That's crazy. Keeps you. No. I need to make a spray bottle emote. That needs to be on the list. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Earth fur. I I don't even know what to say after that. Just that. Also, that was my computer, not yours. Apparently, I'm not allowed to laugh anymore. Graphics tablet gets mad. Um. I. My goodness. That one is the. Oh, what did I miss? That one is the triangle of trouble, where each corner represents veering into troublesome topics. Spray bottle is much easier to understand than that. Just got a spray bottle for the cursed information. That's all. The triangle of trouble is a cute idea, though. I like that. Ooh. Okay, also, apparently I did not connect his mouth. There we go. Okay, so I'll go back to the legs here. Actually, no, the legs are good for the most part. It's right here that needs it. I'm gonna be real. I don't think I'm gonna like what I'm doing right here very much. Let's see. It's not horrible. It just needs to be adjusted. There's too many lines as opposed to it just doesn't match over here. So let me fix. There, okay. That should be a little better. Yeah. And then let me just make it a little smoother transition. Then we go over here. So then, what else needs to be? The reins need to be.
Waiting for your storm to settle as I look toward the sea. Dust in your eyes like the water as the tide it consumes me. You would never save me if my walls came down. That is underwater, you would let me drown. Watching as I suffer.
It's such an interesting and special way to read this comic, watching you illustrate it live. As you said about the details, a person reading the end product isn't going to linger close or long enough on art to notice certain details, or lack thereof, but here we get to watch you consider and add every detail in much more time than reading the final product. It's like meta art. That's actually a really good point. I didn't even consider that. That is one of the things that I was thinking about. I don't think it was this stream, or like when I was like maybe the last time I was working on this on stream. One of the things I was considering was y'all are gonna end up seeing me sit there and like have to finnick through speech bubbles and lettering, which is that's not something I know how to do yet. But what's gonna be interesting is more so there are characters in this where they speak telepathically, so they're not going to be opening their mouth. So obviously, these are ways there are unique symbols that are going to be unique to this specific comic that you guys are going to sit there and like have to. I want to put up with makes it sound mean, but y'all are gonna like end up seeing me like concept through a bunch of different ways to do different speech bubbles and stuff, which is like kind of an art all of its own, which is fun. So essentially learning a new art form as I'm doing art, essentially. That is a really good point, though. Watching the live birth of an art. One of the things myself and the other writers what they end up talking about is like if the comic explodes into like being really popular, which I first off flattered that they're having that thought. Um because the stories are all really good. I know that for a fact. So it's just a matter of me making sure the art makes it readable story-wise. Um and one of the things they were talking about the other day amongst each other was if it gets super popular, the potential of what people would like ship together and stuff. And I'm just like, you guys are so feral for your own characters. It's wholesome. What's gonna be interesting for me, kind of in that same vein of what you had pointed out, is of me like having to decide like what I am and am not keeping, is figuring out a workflow for coloring, because I have a very semi painterly way I do coloring, but that's not feasible for comic. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to break my workflow down super far to make things a little faster, I suppose, but still not losing the quality. Yeah, once it releases, you don't own it anymore, the audience does, kind of thing. No telling what people might do as part of taking it as their own. Yeah, that is very true. I am of the mindset that while the audience does end up taking a degree of ownership, there is still a weight, not a weight, a responsibility of a creator to make sure that their content doesn't get out of hand, and still falls within like certain boundaries, because it's still like the creator's content. So like that's something that they should be kind of responsible for and with, if that makes sense. There's been a lot of creators recently that have stopped holding that accountability, and it bugs me. Because then their fandom just gets completely out of hand. Okay, I fixed the main. Part of it wasn't shaded like it should have been. I don't know why it wasn't, but it's been fixed now. Not that I think anybody would have noticed. Okay, let me see. How are the rains looking? Technically the same. It'll just make coloring easier for me. Because realistically, the more line work you add, the less coloring you have to do. Because with coloring is shading and lighting, so the more line work you have, the less you have to like really hone down on your coloring. Though coloring, as far as like as far as like color theory goes, is still incredibly important. But that when it comes to comics varies very, very heavily on the kind of message you're trying to use per like character or the story, or that gets complicated very fast. Yeah, I agree. I think I heard John Green talk about it best in words. I can't remember, but talking about his writing and how uncomfortable it was and is that this thing that was all his is now being created in perpetuity in the mind of the people reading it. However, yeah, I agree. You can help guide that message. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, because after a certain point, it's just it's there forever. So I mean, oh man. That's actually a really good point. And I suppose a really good example of that would be something like V for Vendetta, where it started as a comic, and if you go look at the comic and versus as like maybe the movie, I suppose, like there's still huge differences. They kept a lot of the same source material, of course, but like hearing a song in 2010 versus 2020 can say way different things to you. This is true, yeah. I've just thrown so much detail on that horse's face, and now I have to do it for all of the horses. I've played myself, but it looks good, so that's fine. Oh boy. I'm trying to think of where I want to... I guess I'll go with the lower jaw. I'm gonna leave this not the muzzle, the snout alone. It's looking great to me. Thank you. I agree that it's looking good. I'm excited that it's going as well as it is. I will add kind of like a dark here. No. I've botched it. Hang on. Horse texture. To be fair, that's kind of what inking is. It's just, you know, your outlines and your texture. One of my favorite icebreaker questions is if you could forget one thing to re-experience again for the first time, what would it be? However, the time in your life you have that first experience can totally change how you receive it. Like, the Dragonlance novels are super important to me, but I started reading them when I was maybe 8 or so. If I read them for the first time now, it would probably just blend in as kind of mid-level fantasy writing. Ooh. So, I've got a similar instance with Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So that particular book has become one of my favorite books. However, if I read it probably these days just for the first time, I don't think it would be. But it ended up as like this big thing for me when I was in, what was it, 10th grade? Yeah, 10th grade, because it was just such an out of the blue recommendation from a substitute teacher I had. Now I was a kid at that time that I just kind of kept to myself, because I just moved to the area and I was the new kid, and it was extra tough, and I was like the new kid every year in high school because of how much I was moving. So that particular time, I would just have like given up. I was like, I'll just get through school year and you probably move again anyway. It doesn't matter. But so I wasn't interacting with anybody in the class at the time. I was just reading. And the sub, he was an English sub, just started up a random conversation with me about what I was reading and asked me like what kind of books I liked and like what genres and like stuff I liked. And at the time I really liked sci-fi and vampires. And that was the answers I kind of gave. And he suggested Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and he gave it was a Star Wars book, but it was a I don't remember the name of that one, and I don't think I ended up reading it. But that particular book was apparently followed like two kids on the run from like whatever the Star Wars equivalent of vampires are. But anyway, I ended up picking up Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like the full max volume from the library, because I would normally go to the library after school anyway. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll grab it. And binged all of the books. Like, that was life-altering information that the dude gave me. Oh yeah, I get that. I love H. Actually, I don't know what this abbreviation looks super familiar. I don't know what that abbreviation is. Star Wars novels were good. Hitchhiker. Oh God. You know what? I've abbreviated it myself too, and that's probably why it looked familiar. But oh my God. I was just too lazy to type it all. Understandable. Honestly, it's a really long name. The Rogue Squadron. So despite that recommendation, I've never gotten into Star Wars. It's just, for whatever reason, like, the movies never appealed to me. I've watched, like, the first original 3 movies, and it just, I don't know, it didn't stick. I got into Star Wars from a very weird angle, but yeah, to each their own. How do you get into Star Wars from a weird angle? How does that work? What's the lore behind that one? If you want to share, of course. I really like samurai movies, and those original 3 were semi-thematically and cinematographically inspired by Kurosawa films. That is, in fact, a very odd angle, but yeah, okay. That's kind of neat, though. This leads me to a different question. Are you a cinephile? Which, if you want to watch old black and white samurai movies that are kind of slow and dry, they're on the Internet Archive. I will keep that in mind. Oop, no. I got carried away. No. Okay, and then because how the light would hit. I don't know enough to consider myself a cinephile, but I'm just an everything enjoyer. The biggest cause of depression I have is an awareness that life is too short for me to deeply delve into all of the topics which I would love to. That's my flavor of existential crisis. There's too many things to do. There's too many cool things to explore, but God, is there not enough time? Oh man, dude. That is such a mood. My condolences on that flavor of depression. That's a tough one. I forget if links work, but here's one of the films because I love advertising the Internet Archive as full films available. Okay, let me. I made that wrong. Let me see. I am curious what film this is. The Hidden Fortress. The story follows two greedy peasants in feudal Japan, returning home from a failed attempt to profit from a war between neighboring clans. En route, they encounter the remains of the defeated tribe. You need to escape. This sounds... I'm gonna save this for later. Can I... let me copy this? Yes, you are. Copy this. So, like, the style of that Kurosawa film, that scene with those two characters in the thumbnail there, inspired the shot of Luke in the first Star Wars where he's looking over the desert. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to... Okay, I'm gonna throw this... I'm gonna put this link in the chat I have with one of my partners, because that's faster. And she'll... she'll be fine. Oh wait, it didn't copy the right link. Hang on. Give me this. I'm just gonna copy the whole thing. And then... okay, there we go. Yeah, so did you real? No, 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 no! This... I love finding out new stuff, and I love movies. So, like, this... I'm here for this. Plus, it gives me, like, a slight mental break, which is good. That's a good thing to do. Can get some water, too. There we go. Okay. Is my... Yes, the graphics tab is still working. Also, if you watch it or any other Kurosawa movies, you'll have a deeper understanding of the Our Naked Lady song 1 week when he says, like Kurosawa, I make bad films. Okay, I don't make films, but if I did, they'd have a samurai. Ooh. Noted. I don't know what that song is, but I will keep that in mind. Let me do this. Extend this neck out a little more. Okay, is this looking fine so far? Oh my god, it is. Guys, I'm doing it. You've probably heard the song, but it's very rapid fire lyrics. Ah, I gotcha. Speaking of songs, what song is this? It's very harpsichord. The Hinterlands? Oh, I do know this dude. He made Warbringer. Okay. Alright. Okay. We continue with our horse. Brandon Sanderson, a Warbreaker? Oh, no. It is Everin Maxwell. He made Warbringer, which was made with the Fat Rat and Lindsey Sterling. Oh, the song. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We still. Yeah, it's still looking good. Okay. Though I squared his shoulder a little bit. How do I fix that? Okay, but if I... Okay, so if I do that, does it still look kind of squared, or... It'll be fine. I think. That I might be overthinking a little bit. Did I make his leg look flat? I did. Okay. No, okay. Because if I backtrack out of... Oh no! Made his leg flat. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do this. This is why we work on different layers. Because I can erase things and not have to worry. How can I... How can I fix this? What did I do? Alternatively, I leave it alone? Because, I mean, it doesn't look as flat without all of it. So maybe just a couple of... Well, like, hey, there's texture there, and then I can leave it alone. Okay, so let's see, foot and the stirrup will cast a shadow. And then... There we go. Alright, just got some shading. That'll show the curve of the stomach. Oop, I zoomed in. And then... Neat. My only worry is that I didn't do that up here, but it's... There's nothing saying I couldn't go back just, but it's fine. Then again, because they're zoomed out, you have... Well, technically the top panel would be more textured, but I'm not gonna... No. Set zoomed out for a moment. To figure out how I want to texture the horse blankets, or if I want to throw a pattern on it. However, the issue is they all have the horse blankets, of course. And as these three characters that are displayed here are the ones that I have written for, I've got a pretty good grasp of what they would and wouldn't do, and they wouldn't really get like textured, or not textured, but patterned blankets. Or no, I take that back. Berry wood. But that's what berry? Yeah, berry wood. No, okay, I take it back. The only person that wouldn't is Lillian. Because Lorenzo would, because his wife would have designed a pattern for him. Barry would, because his adoptive son would do something cute. Lillian would not, because at this point in time, she's just stressed and sad. And perpetually having an existential crisis. For the writing, is the dialogue already fully written, or just overall plot arc? So, So the interesting way that this comic has been written, since didn't start as, hey, we're gonna make a comic, but started as myself and my friends going, we're gonna write our silly little characters, and our silly little characters are gonna hang out, and that's it. But we ended up crafting like huge overarching stories, and this has been going on for 6 years now, 6+. And like 3 years ago, I got to a point where I was like, these stories are way too good to not be something tangible in the world beyond just what we're doing and what we're writing. So to an extent, yes, all of the dialogue is written, because where I'm starting at, I'm actually like physically pulling from the things that we've written. However, to a separate extent, also no, because I'm taking what is essentially a living complicated manuscript, I guess, and having to take all of this dialogue, cut pieces in and out, to make sure that it's cohesive and understandable beyond like just, because obviously like when you're writing in a format like that, you're gonna have things that you pick up or drop or change or alter, so I'm having to make sure the whole thing is, you know, cohesive. So from a scripting standpoint for a comic artist, no. What I have dialogued and written so far is essentially the first issue release, and that obviously that's what I'm working on. I have that done, and then obviously once this is finished, I have to move to scripting the second one, which is kind of started, but it's been a couple of months, and I know if I go look at it and I read it, I will probably take majority of what I have and scrap it and kind of adjust a couple of things. Which is, I mean, that's just the nature of writing in general, from what I'm understanding. So yes and no. To make what is effectively a ramble, yes and no is the answer. In total, there is technically, oh my god, how many of us are there? 1, 2, like 7. Yeah, there's 7 of us collectively that have done the writing. Which the comic idea came up because I did a little online comic class, and I ended up taking some of the writing that one of my friends did. Then that's one of the writers, and started to. I didn't finish the class technically, but I started taking some of the writing that he did, and it was over one of the characters that are actually in this comic. And kind of putting that into like a scripted comic format to then start inking and sketching and stuff. And I was like, this is fun, actually. Like, this is really cool. Really complicated, but really cool. So it was something I wanted to keep up with doing, but obviously I needed a concept for what I wanted to do. And lo and behold, at that time there was like maybe 2-3 years worth of writing in, and I was like, bet? Okay, this is what we're doing. And I asked, of course. It was like, would you guys be cool if I did this? And they were super stoked. So. One horse is textured. Heck yeah. Except his nose. Let's get his nose in. I will say Lorenzo's horse, this guy back here is Lorenzo. He's got a black horse, so I will probably, well, like a blue-black horse. I don't know that I would do, I also see part of where I forgot the thing there. But I don't know if I would do the same shading for the same reason that the mane isn't done. which is when you're working with black, you're better off doing your detailing with white or a lighter color because it reads better. So I might try that. I'm not sure. I'm gonna fix the reins though, or I think this technically would be the harness or like the head harness, which I can detail to an extent because A, Barry's done, so I can fix stuff. B, if I was doing letters instead of numbers, it's not black, it's brown, so I can kind of fix it. Okay, so I got the ear shaded. Even though I just said I wasn't gonna do it, but it makes it read better. Well, I don't know. With that color, I could probably fix it. I do think I'm gonna fix the lighting on that one, though. Who things I want to fix? Okay, so... Let's see. We'll do like the extra heavy shading, but I don't know that we'll do much more beyond that. I say as I will likely end up doing it anyway. Which is fine. Okay, so I can color this in because that's between his fingers. Yep, I said I wasn't gonna do it anyway. It's fine. Just simple lines. Let's see. Okay, so I would have it be because of how the lighting goes. That this would be the thicker line. No, that's fine. I wanted it like, here we go. outline this for Barry real quick. Because he's in front. What happened? What did it do? Why did it do that? Oh! It didn't make a line, which is good. Why did it do that? Okay, do that there. I got distracted off the horse. There, it's fine. Yep. Okay, just kinda. So his horse ends up looking kind of thick. So if I put this line there, yeah, that works. And then when I do the background, it'll, yeah. Okay. It's not nearly as detailed as Dusty is, so that's fine. Because yes, well, Lillian's horse has a name. Technically, all of the horses have names. This is not Lorenzo's named horse right here. Barry's horse's name, which this is Barry. I don't remember what it is at the moment. Despite how often that horse shows up after a certain point. My horse character, not a clue what I did, which is bad. Okay, there we go. So Renzo's horse is all done. Now we do Barry's horse. I think. Do we do Barry's horse? Yeah, we do Barry's horse. Yeah, okay. Oh, and because that's the... Actually, you would not see the jaw of Barry's horse. Not with how that's situated. Yeah, no, okay. Oh, that's gonna be weird. It's fine. and then we could do this. And we shade the reins. No, I started this with, we'll do one character shading at a time, and we've instead gone, we will do every horse at a time. Which, I mean, it do be that way sometimes. You just go, we'll do this plan, and then you're like immediately, nah, no, never mind. We're changing this plan. Got a better idea. Is that about? Yeah. Okay. No, those are too spindly for what I want. Um, mm, no, I'm not gonna end up liking that. I feel it. I know it. No, I don't. No, it's a little too sharp. Let me see. Oop, no, that's too far. Okay. Maybe, okay. No, maybe it wasn't. I'll go back. Maybe it's the shape. So let's see. So, because it's folded, it'll do this. Yeah, okay. So the curve of it that I was like, I'll come back to later. We've now come back to it later. I see what I did. This. here. There we go. And then I think I fixed it. I did. Because then what we're missing is this line would be much thicker. Ooh, no, I like straggled my line. There we go. And then, let's see. So, that's part of the blanket. But the strap, I have a thicker line here. This would have thicker. Alright, let me zoom out, see how we're looking. Looking good. Okay. we go. I believe our horses are done now. Yeah! Alright. I just gotta do Lorenzo's reins back there. Or at least the other part of them. And do this part. There we go.
I remember the cabin in Tennessee. We got so high we cried, and you looked like heaven in the passenger seat, but life just passed us by. 'Cause we weren't meant to be, but you still got a piece of me.
Ooh, we're getting there. I think that is like one of the things that it's super satisfying for me to do like inking stuff, but inking for comics takes so long. But it's a lot of fun to do. I think that is what I've determined. Ooh, but with our horses done, and the time being what it is, I think this is where we're gonna leave our art stream off. I am gonna find, well, I'm gonna see if there's somebody to raid. I think Saturdays and then sometimes Tuesdays. It's a little weird to try and find someone to raid because it's not very many people are streaming at the time. But I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see who's streaming. We go to this. Wait for everything to load. Okay, we click this. Ooh! There's a couple people. Let's see. Scissors is doing art. Popcorn's doing his Baldur's Gate playthrough. Kimosabi. Kevin's also streaming. Let's see. We've rated Scissors recently. And Kimosabi. Let's go say hi to Popcorn with his Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. I think that'd be fun to do. So I'm gonna click this. We click this, and thank you guys for coming out and hanging around and all the lovely things. It's been super fun as always. And I will see you guys tomorrow for some more Wind Waker.